Hello everyone, welcome back. This will be the Lesson 7, 6th grade YLOC worksheet. So to start off, we're going to begin with number lines. So first thing is we need to keep in mind that each of these marks would represent a specific amount. So in this case, it would be 0.25. Oh, and sorry if my handwriting is messy. I hope you can read it. So next, what you want to do is label these letters on the number line using these numbers over here. Okay, so we can start off with A, which is 10.25. So we can begin over here because that's the mark for 10, and 0.25, which means we would have to move to the right once more since each of these marks is 0.25, so that would be 10.25. So A would be here. Next is 9.5. So we could start off with the mark over here for 9 and 0.5. So that means we would go 9.25 and then 9.5. So this would be B. And then we have C, which is 7.25. So we could go to the mark over here, which is 7. And then the extra 0.25, which means we would move to the right once for 7.25. Because remember, each of these marks is 0.25. So 7.25 is over here. I'll label that as C. So now I'll try another example for you guys. So let's do number 7. So 7 is a little bit different. You would have to make somewhat of an estimate for one of these numbers. So we can begin to label A, which is 9.75. So keep in mind that each mark is still 0.25. So we can start off with the 9 mark over here and go 9.25, 9.5, and then 9.75. So this would be A. Then we have 10 for B. 10 is just over here. That's it. Just look for the 10 mark. And now we have 11.95. So for 11.95, we can make a pretty good estimate of where it's going to be. So it won't be specifically on one of these marks. It'll be somewhere after or before, in between these marks. So we know 11.95 is pretty close to 12, so we can make a guess that it'll be about over here. Okay, so that would be C. Now moving on to the next section, which would be fractions. So let's start off with number 1. Okay, so first thing you want to do with mixed numbers is you want to turn them into an improper fraction. So what that basically is, it would look something like a normal fraction, except the numerator would usually be greater than the denominator. So here, let me show you guys. So we're going to convert this to an improper fraction first. So we have 4, 1 over 3. So first thing you want to do is you want to multiply the 4 and the 3, which is 12. And then you want to add the 1, okay? So 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1, 13. And then the denominator over here, which is the 3, it stays the same, okay? Now let's convert 3.5 to an improper fraction. So we have 3.5. So we have 3 and 2. You want to multiply that, which is 6. Then you add the 1, which is 7 over, same denominator, 2, okay? Now we just multiply these two. So 13 over 3 over here is converted to an improper fraction, and 7 over 2. Now we just multiply. 13 times 7, 91, over 3 times 2, 6. Okay? So that's it. I'll do one more example for you guys. So let's do number 5. So let's start off with 3.5 again. Pretty much the same mixed number, but 3 times 2, 6, plus 1, So 7 over, keep the same denominator, 2. Then we have 2.5 over here. So 2 times 2, 4, plus 1 is 5. Keep the same denominator over here. And now we just multiply it. So 7 over 2 times 5 over 2. By the way, this mark over here is basically the same thing as that multiplication symbol. 7 times 5, 35, then 2 times 2 is 4. So this will be your answer. Moving on to the next section, we have graphing. Okay, so let's do number 1. So number 1, we have positive 9, comma positive 1. So we have 9 over 1, or sorry, 9 comma 1. So these coordinates are written in x comma y form. And as you can see over here, x is labeled here, y is labeled up there. Okay, so first thing you want to do is the x, which is 9. So you want to go all the way to the right until you hit 9. And then you want to go up 1 because that's the y, which would be here. So that means 9 comma 1 would be F. So number 1, answer would be F. Now let's try number 4, which is negative 2 comma negative 7. So negative 2 comma negative 7. So first thing you want to do, which is the x, right? So negative 2 is x. Now since it's negative, you go to the left. Negative 2 is over here, so that's the mark. And then we have negative 7 for the y, which means we would have to go down because it's negative. So negative 2 here and then down. So we would hit I. So that means I would be negative 2 comma negative 7. Okay, now similar to this, the next section, instead of finding the letter, we would find the ordered pair for a certain letter. So let's try number 10, which is A. So let's look for A. So A is over here, and we want to find the coordinates for it. So first off, we can see that goes under the 2, right? And then now, how many times will we have to go down? Would be up to negative 7, right? So, 2, and then negative 7. So that would be your answer. So A is 2 comma negative 7. And I'll do one more for you guys. Let's do number 14, so that's K. So K is over here. So first off, start off with the X. Goes up to 3, right? And then the Y goes up to 5. So that means it would be 3, which is over here, and then the 5, so comma 5. And that would be your answer. Okay, moving on to the next section, we have, so plotting points for an image. So similar to the previous section, all you want to do is graph these points and you want to connect them. So I'll try a few examples. So let's do this one, 6 comma 5 and 1 comma negative 1.5. Okay. All right. So 6 comma 5 and 1 comma negative 1.5. So 6 comma 5. First thing you want to do, remember, which is the x value. You want to go all the way till you hit 6 because that's the x. And then you have the 5 for the y. So you want to go up until you reach the 5 mark. And point would be right there. So 6 and 5. Now we have 1 comma negative 1.5. So here, let me erase this. So first is the 1, which is the x right here. And now we have negative 1.5. So we would go down because it's negative. And we have to put it right in between because it's 0.5. So negative 1.5. It's not negative 1. It's not negative 2. It's negative 1.5. So it'll be in between the negative 1 and negative 2. So we have 1. I apologize, those are technical issues. So let me get back to where we were. So we were graphing 1, negative 1.5. So first off, which is the x? So 1. So 1 represents the x value, right? We would go to the 1, which is over here. And then we have the negative 1.5, which would be in between negative 1 and negative 2 for the y value. So it would be right about here. So that would be 1.5. And all we have to do is graph it. So this would be 1, negative 1.5. You guys can try the rest on your own. Graph all the points, connect them. And the hint is a black cat. So once you graph all the points and connect them, it should look something like a black cat. Good luck, and I'll see you guys next week.